Pick any girl you want, they mocked, the cowboy pointed. Her, the one you call too big. The twin suns of the frontier planet slowly sank toward the horizon, painting the sky with soft orange and deep purple colors. Dust moved across the open street of Rustfall Settlement, a small town built from old starship metal and wooden beams brought from Earth long ago. The town was rough and loud, filled with miners, traders, ranchers, and travelers who came searching for luck but often found only struggle. A lone cowboy walked into town that evening. His name was Rowan Hale. He moved with calm steps, wearing a long coat faded by years under strange alien skies. His hat shadowed his face, hiding sharp eyes that noticed everything. He carried little a small bag, a worn belt, and the quiet confidence of someone who had seen many worlds and survived them all. Rowan was not looking for trouble. He was looking for a new start. He had recently bought an old ranch outside town for almost nothing. The locals called it cursed. Machines failed there. Storms came suddenly. Some even claimed they heard voices from the ground. Rowan did not believe in curses. He believed in hard work and second chances. As he walked down the main street, people watched him. New arrivals always drew attention in Rustfall. Some men nodded politely. Others looked at him with curiosity or challenge. A group of young ranch hands laughed loudly near a mechanical horse stable, betting on how long the new cowboy would last. Rowan ignored them. He stopped in front of the town saloon, a large building made from the remains of an old cargo ship. Soft music came from inside, mixed with loud voices and the sound of glasses hitting tables. He stepped inside. The saloon smelled of food, metal, oil, and dust. Lights glowed warmly from old energy lamps hanging from chains. A crowd filled the room, some celebrating after long workdays, others trying to forget their troubles. Rowan walked quietly to the counter and ordered water. The bartender studied him for a moment. "You're new," he said. Rowan nodded once. "Name?" "Rowan." The bartender poured the drink and slid it toward him. "Town's not easy," he said. "People test you here." Rowan gave a small smile. "People test everywhere." Before the bartender could reply, loud cheering erupted from the center of the room. Rowan turned slightly. A group of men had gathered near a raised platform. Standing near them were several women, all travelers from another colony ship that had arrived earlier that week. Some looked nervous, others looked annoyed by the attention. One of the men, broad and loud, clapped his hands. "Tonight's a fun night," he shouted. "New faces in town, new choices." The crowd laughed. Rowan felt uncomfortable with the tone, but stayed silent. Another man noticed him. "Hey," he called, "new cowboy, come here." Rowan did not move. The man grinned wider. "Don't be shy, pick any girl you want, that's the game tonight." Laughter spread across the room. Rowan slowly turned on his stool. He did not like games that treated people like objects, but he also understood that refusing openly might cause more trouble than necessary. He walked closer, calm and steady. The women stood in a line, clearly unhappy with the situation but unwilling to create conflict in an unfamiliar town. Some tried to ignore the comments. Others crossed their arms defensively. Then Rowan noticed someone standing slightly behind the others. She was taller than most people in the room, strong shoulders, quiet posture, and eyes that watched everything without showing emotion. Her name, he later learned, was Myra. The men laughed when they saw Rowan looking around. "Go on," one said. "Pick any girl you want." Another added loudly, "Just don't pick the giant one, she scares people." More laughter followed. Myra did not react. She simply stood still, used to being overlooked or mocked. Rowan studied the room for a long moment. He saw confidence hiding fear, arrogance hiding insecurity. Then he looked back at Myra. She did not try to attract attention. She did not pretend to be someone else. She simply existed, strong and quiet. He raised his hand. "Her," he said. The laughter stopped. For a few seconds, the room became silent. Then the crowd exploded with noise. "You serious? No way. You picked her." Someone laughed so hard he nearly fell from his chair. Myra looked surprised, her calm expression breaking slightly. She seemed unsure whether this was another joke. Rowan stepped forward calmly. "If she agrees," he added, his voice respectful. The difference in his tone made her pause. He was not mocking, he was not demanding, he was simply offering a choice. Myra stepped forward slowly. "Why?" she asked quietly. Rowan shrugged slightly. "Because I choose who I want to stand beside." The simple answer confused the crowd even more. The loud man shook his head, still laughing. "Your mistake, cowboy." Rowan did not respond. Outside the saloon, the evening air felt cooler. The noise behind them faded as the door closed. Myra walked beside him in silence for several steps before speaking again. "You didn't have to do that." "I know," Rowan said. "Then why?" He thought for a moment before answering. "Because people should be seen for who they are, not what others say." She looked at him carefully, searching for hidden sarcasm or pity. She found none. They reached the edge of town where the open plains began. Two moons slowly rose above distant hills. Rowan stopped walking. "I bought a ranch outside town," he said. "Needs work more than one person can handle alone." Myra raised an eyebrow. "I'm not offering charity," he added quickly. "Just partnership if you're interested." She hesitated. Trust did not come easily to her. Life had taught her to expect disappointment, but something about Rowan felt different. He did not stare at her size with fear or curiosity. He simply treated her as equal. Finally, she nodded once. "All right," she said. They began walking toward the dark horizon together. Above them, hidden beyond the clouds, a small drone watched silently, recording everything. And far beneath the land Rowan had purchased, ancient machines slowly awakened for the first time in centuries. The choice made inside the saloon had already begun to change more than just two lives. It had started something much bigger. The journey from Rustfall settlement to the ranch took most of the night. Rowan guided the small transport vehicle across wide red plains that stretched endlessly beneath the twin moons. The land looked quiet but carried signs of old storms, cracked earth, broken metal structures, and abandoned equipment left by miners who had given up long ago. Myra sat beside him, watching the horizon carefully. She said little, but her eyes never stopped moving. Rowan noticed that she studied the terrain like someone trained to observe danger. "You've been here long?" she finally asked. "No," Rowan replied. "Just long enough to buy trouble." She almost smiled. The vehicle climbed a small ridge and the ranch came into view. It stood alone on a wide plateau surrounded by tall rock formations. Old fences lined the property, many broken or leaning. Solar panels lay half buried in dust. A barn built from metal plates stood near a weathered house with flickering lights. "This is yours?" Mara asked. "Yes," Rowan said simply. She stepped out of the vehicle and walked slowly across the ground, testing the stability of the soil with each step. The air felt different here, heavier, almost electric. "You said people think it's cursed," she said. "They say machines stop working," Rowan answered, "and storms come without warning." Mara crouched near a metal pole half buried in the dirt. She brushed dust away and revealed strange markings carved into the surface. "These aren't human designs," she said quietly. Rowan nodded. "I guess that." He unlocked the ranch house door. Inside, the space looked clean but empty. A table stood in the center, along with a few chairs and tools neatly organized along the walls. Rowan had clearly started repairs but needed help to continue. Mara walked through the rooms slowly, observing everything. She noticed how Rowan arranged tools carefully, how nothing was wasted, and how even broken parts were saved for future use. "You work alone a lot," she said. "Yes." "Doesn't it get lonely?" Rowan paused before answering. "Sometimes, but I learned to live with it." Myra did not respond. She understood loneliness too well. The next morning began early. The first sun rose above the horizon, bringing warm light across the plains. Rowan handed Myra a cup of hot drink brewed from local plants. "We start with fences," he said. She nodded. They worked side by side for hours. Rowan repaired broken sections while Myra examined damaged energy connectors along the solar fence. Her hands moved quickly, adjusting wires and stabilizing circuits with confident precision. Rowan watched her quietly. "You've done this before." "A little," she said, avoiding details. By midday, the fence powered back on for the first time in months. A soft hum filled the air as energy flowed through the system. Rowan smiled slightly. "Good work." Mara felt unexpected warmth at the simple praise. As they continued working, strange things began to happen. One of the ranch machines suddenly activated without anyone touching it. A water collector spun slowly before stopping again. Lights flickered along the ground as if something beneath the surface moved. Mara felt a strange sensation like recognition. She walked toward a section of earth where faint glowing lines appeared briefly before fading. Rowan joined her. "You feel that too?" She hesitated, then nodded. "This place isn't normal," she said. "I figured." They returned to work, but the feeling remained. Later that evening, they sat outside near a small fire. The sky turned deep blue as stars appeared one by one. "Why did you really choose this place?" Mara asked. Rowan looked toward the horizon. "Because everyone else avoided it," he said. "That usually means opportunity," she laughed softly. "Or danger." "Both," he replied. Silence settled between them, comfortable and calm. After a long pause, Mara spoke again. "I wasn't always traveling," she said carefully. "I grew up in a research colony. They studied old alien technology. They said some people were more compatible with ancient systems." Rowan listened without interrupting. "They trained me," she continued. "Tested me, expected me to become something useful to them. I left before they could decide my future for me." Rowan nodded slowly. "Sounds like you made the right choice." She looked surprised. "You don't want more details?" "Only if you want to share," he said. That answer earned another small smile. As night deepened, a distant engine sound broke the quiet. Rowan stood instantly, alert. 3 vehicles approached from the direction of town, headlights cutting through darkness. Mara sensed tension immediately. "Friends?" she asked. "Unlikely." The vehicles stopped near the ranch entrance. Several men stepped out, the same group that had laughed in the saloon. "Well, well," one called. "Cowboy and the giant playing house already." Mara remained calm, though anger flickered behind her eyes. "We came to check on you," another said sarcastically. "Make sure you didn't regret your choice." Rowan crossed his arms. "We're busy." The men laughed. One kicked a broken fence piece, trying to provoke a reaction. "You really think this place will work?" he said. "Everyone fails here." Mara stepped forward slightly, her presence suddenly powerful. The men hesitated, surprised by her confidence. "This is private land," she said calmly. Her voice carried quiet strength. The leader smirked. "Relax, we're just having fun." He moved closer, but Rowan stepped between them. "Fun's over," Rowan said. After a tense moment, the group backed away, still laughing but clearly unsettled. As their vehicles disappeared into the distance, Mara released a slow breath. "They'll come back," she said. "I know," Rowan replied. They returned to the fire, but the peaceful feeling had changed. Later that night, while Rowan slept, Mara walked alone toward the glowing area she had noticed earlier. The ground shimmered faintly under moonlight. As she stepped closer, hidden panels beneath the soil shifted slightly, reacting to her presence. A low hum rose from deep underground. Mara froze. The land was responding to her. High above, the same hidden drone observed silently, transmitting data to unknown watchers. Back inside the ranch house, Rowan opened his eyes slowly. He had sensed something change, not danger yet, but the beginning of something larger. Outside, Mara placed her hand on the glowing surface. The light grew stronger for a moment before fading again. She stepped back, heart racing. Whatever secret this ranch held, it was connected to her, and their quiet partnership was about to face challenges far greater than mocking voices from town. The morning after Mara touched the glowing ground felt different. The air around the ranch carried a quiet energy, like a storm waiting beyond the horizon. Rowan noticed it first when the ranch systems powered on before he touched any controls. Lights blinked softly along the fence line. Water collectors activated without commands. He stood still watching. Mara walked out of the house slowly. She looked tired, as if she had barely slept. "You felt it too," Rowan said. She nodded. "I touched something last night," she admitted. "The ground reacted to me." Rowan did not look surprised. "I guess this place was hiding something," he said calmly, "but I didn't expect it to recognize you." Mara folded her arms, thinking carefully. "The research colony where I grew up, they believed some ancient systems needed specific people to activate them. People with certain biological patterns. And you might be one of them." "Yes," the words hung between them. Rowan did not step back or show fear. Instead, he simply asked, "Does it change anything for you?" She shook her head slowly. "I don't want to belong to anyone's experiment again." "Then you don't," Rowan said firmly. "Not here." His calm certainty grounded her. For the first time, she felt safe exploring the truth instead of running from it. They spent the morning checking equipment. Every system worked better than before. Even broken machines showed signs of self-repair. "It's like the ranch is waking up," Mara said. Rowan nodded. "Or waiting." Before they could continue, a distant engine sound echoed across the plains. Both turned toward the horizon. Several dark vehicles approached quickly, faster and heavier than the local ranchers' transports. Dust clouds rose behind them like warning signals. "Not good," Rowan said quietly. Mara felt a cold wave of recognition. These were not simple troublemakers from town. They found me, she whispered. The vehicles stopped outside the ranch boundary. Armed figures stepped out, wearing uniforms marked with corporate symbols, the same research organization she had escaped years ago. Rowan's expression hardened. "Inside," he said. They moved quickly toward the house. Rowan grabbed equipment from a locked cabinet, tools modified into defensive devices, nothing excessive but enough to protect themselves. A voice echoed from outside through a speaker. "Mara, we know you're here. Please come peacefully." "You are valuable property." Her jaw tightened at the word property. Rowan glanced at her. "Your choice," he said. She met his eyes. "I'm not going back." "Then we stand together." The corporate team advanced carefully toward the fence line. As they crossed the boundary, the ground lights flickered again. Myra felt a strong pull inside her chest, like the land calling to her. "Wait," she said suddenly. She stepped outside despite Rowan's warning. The soldiers paused, surprised by her calm approach. "Myra," the leader called, "you were designed for a purpose. You belong with us." "I belong to myself," she replied. He sighed. "You don't understand the system beneath this land. It needs you. Without guidance, it could become dangerous." Myra felt uncertainty for a moment. What if he was telling the truth? Rowan stepped beside her silently, offering support without speaking. The leader raised his hand. "Last chance, come willingly." Myra closed her eyes briefly. The hum beneath the ground grew louder, responding to her emotions. "No," she said. The moment she spoke, the earth trembled softly. Energy lines spread across the ranch like glowing veins. A barrier of light rose along the fence, blocking the soldiers' advance. Everyone froze. Rowan stared at Mara with amazement but not fear. "You did that," he said. "I didn't mean to," she answered, equally surprised. The corporate leader looked angry now. "Activate containment," he ordered. Machines unfolded from the vehicles, devices designed to suppress energy signals. They aimed toward the ranch, preparing to shut down whatever system she had awakened. Mara felt panic rising. "I don't know how to control it," she whispered. Rowan placed a steady hand on her shoulder. "You don't need perfect control, just trust yourself." His voice grounded her again. She stepped forward, focusing on the feeling beneath her feet. The hum grew stronger, spreading through her body like warm light. The ground responded. Energy waves pushed outward, disabling the suppression devices before they could activate fully. Sparks flew, and the machines shut down. The soldiers hesitated, clearly unprepared for resistance from the land itself. Rowan used the moment to activate the ranch's defense systems, simple but effective tools that created smoke barriers and disoriented the attackers. "Fall back," the leader ordered reluctantly. The vehicles retreated slowly, leaving dust swirling behind them. Silence returned. Mara dropped to her knees, breathing heavily. Rowan knelt beside her. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded weakly. "That was intense." "You protected us." "I don't know if I protected or just reacted," she said honestly. Rowan smiled slightly. "Sometimes that's enough." They returned inside, both understanding that this was only the beginning. Later that evening, Mara stood alone near the glowing ground again. This time she felt less fear. Instead, curiosity grew. She placed her hand gently on the surface. The earth opened slightly, revealing a hidden staircase leading downward. Soft light glowed from below. Rowan joined her, raising an eyebrow. "Well," he said quietly. "Looks like the ranch has more secrets." Mara took a deep breath. "Ready?" he asked. She nodded. Together, they stepped toward the unknown, unaware that their choices would soon change not only their lives but the future of the entire frontier. The hidden staircase stretched deep beneath the ranch, glowing softly with pale blue light. Rowan walked slightly ahead, careful and alert, while Mara followed close behind. The air felt warm and alive, carrying a quiet hum that matched the rhythm of her heartbeat. Each step downward felt like entering another world. The walls were smooth and metallic, unlike anything built by human hands. Strange symbols glowed faintly along the surface, shifting slowly like living patterns. Mara felt recognition again, not from memory, but from something deeper inside her. "It's responding to you," Rowan said quietly. "I can feel it," she replied. At the bottom of the staircase, the tunnel opened into a massive underground chamber. A wide circular platform filled the center, surrounded by tall pillars of glowing, crystal-like structures. Streams of light flowed between them like energy rivers. Rowan stopped and looked around slowly. "This is incredible." Mara stepped forward carefully. As her boots touched the platform, the lights grew brighter. A soft sound echoed through the chamber. like a distant voice awakening after a long sleep. Images appeared in the air, holographic projections showing ancient landscapes, green fields, and thriving ecosystems. The system had once healed damaged worlds, restoring life where it had been lost. "It's not a weapon," Rowan said. "No," Myra whispered. "It's a restoration system." She felt both awe and fear. The research colony had trained her to activate alien technology, but she had never seen anything like this. Suddenly, a loud rumble shook the chamber. Rowan turned toward the staircase. "They followed us." Heavy footsteps echoed above. The corporate team had returned, this time stronger, more determined. The leader stepped into view, surrounded by armed guards and advanced machines. His expression showed confidence mixed with impatience. "Thank you for leading us here," he said coldly. "You've done exactly what we needed." Mara's hands clenched. "This system isn't yours. It belongs to whoever can control it," he replied. Rowan stepped slightly in front of her, protective but calm. "You should leave," Rowan said. The leader laughed. "You don't understand the value of what stands before you. This technology can reshape entire planets. It requires someone like her, someone we created." Mara felt anger rise. "I am not your creation," she said firmly. "You were designed for this," he insisted. "Your abilities exist because of us." Rowan spoke quietly beside her. "Abilities don't define ownership." The leader signaled his team. Machines activated, scanning the chamber and preparing to take control of the system by force. Mara felt panic again. The glowing pillars flickered as the system sensed danger. "What do I do?" she whispered to Rowan. "Trust yourself," he answered simply. "You already saved us once." She closed her eyes, focusing on the energy around her. Instead of forcing control, she tried to listen, to understand what the system wanted. Images filled her mind, ancient beings protecting life, guiding growth instead of domination. The system responded to balance, not control. She placed both hands on the central platform. Light surged upward. Energy waves spread across the chamber, pushing back the corporate machines. Some devices shut down instantly, unable to handle the power. The leader shouted angrily, "Contain her." Guards moved forward, but the ground shifted, creating barriers of light that blocked their path. Rowan watched in awe as Myra stood tall at the center of the platform, surrounded by glowing energy. She looked stronger, calmer, not controlled by the system but working with it. "This land chose to heal," she said softly. Above them, distant explosions echoed as the ranch's surface systems activated fully. Solar towers rose from hidden compartments. Defensive shields formed around the property, protecting it from outside interference. The leader realized he was losing control. "You're making a mistake," he warned. "Without us, you won't understand its full power." "I don't need power," Myra replied. "I need freedom." With one final surge, she activated the restoration sequence. Energy spread outward from the underground chamber, flowing through the earth like a living wave. On the surface, dry soil turned rich and dark. Broken plants began to grow again. Old water channels refilled. The ranch transformed before their eyes. The corporate machines powered down completely, unable to function within the system's protective field. The leader stepped back, frustration clear on his face. "This isn't over," he said before signaling retreat. Within moments, his team withdrew, leaving the chamber quiet again. Mara collapsed to her knees, exhausted but relieved. Rowan rushed forward. "You did it." "I didn't control it," she said weakly. "I worked with it." "That's why it worked," he replied. They sat together on the platform as the light slowly softened. After a while, they returned to the surface. The sunrise greeted them with golden light spreading across the plains. The ranch looked completely different now. Grass covered areas that had been barren before. The air felt fresh and alive. In the distance, people from Rustfall settlement approached, slowly drawn by the sudden change. Some were curious. Some looked ashamed, remembering how they had mocked Mara. She watched them calmly. "They'll see you differently now," Rowan said. "I don't need them to," she replied. "But maybe they'll learn." Over the next days, travelers arrived seeking help, bringing broken machines and damaged soil. The ranch became a place of renewal, open to anyone willing to work and respect the land. Rowan and Mara worked side by side, equal partners. One evening, as the twin suns set again, they stood together watching the horizon. "Do you regret choosing me?" she asked quietly. Rowan smiled under his hat. "Not for a second," she laughed softly. The wind moved across the fields, carrying hope instead of dust. The cowboy who had chosen the one everyone mocked, and the woman who had learned to trust herself had built something stronger than either expected. A new beginning, not just for themselves, but for anyone willing to see beyond appearances. And the ranch, once feared and abandoned, became a symbol of what could grow when someone chose kindness over judgment. The story of their choice would travel far across the frontier, reminding people that strength often hides where others refuse to look.